Sometimes it seems as if our pegs have little notches. It's jumping the same every time, sharp, flat, sharp, flat, sharp, flat. Then what I try is the concept of tuning is pretty straightforward, but as anyone knows who's tried to tune a violin, sometimes it's just not that easy. In this video, I'm going to give you my top 5 tips to turn to when you're having trouble tuning your violin, and an extra bonus tip at the end. I'm Michelle, the Intentional Violinist, and this channel is all about sharing what I've learned through experience and research as an adult learner of the violin. For a long time, I didn't give much thought to which string I tuned first. I would just tune them in order: G, D, A, and then E. But I couldn't have been more wrong. There actually is a proper order to tuning. And we start with the A string. And that's because the A string is the most stable string, as it sits both physically in the middle of the bridge, but also in the middle of the violin's tension spectrum, with the G string being lower tension than the A, and the E string being higher tension than the A string. Its stability also usually has to do with the materials used for making the A string. So after tuning the A string, then you move to tuning the D string, and then the G string, and then finally we come to the E string last. So why does this make a difference? Well, when you tune your strings, you're generally increasing tension on the bridge because we're generally tightening, turning our pegs back this way to pull the strings this way, so that way we're raising the pitch to get it in tune. And when the strings are moving this way, they're pulling the bridge this way as well. So when you tune the A string first, which is near the center of the bridge, you're adjusting the tension at that point that distributes the force fairly evenly across the bridge. This helps to set the bridge in a neutral, balanced position. And then as you move to the D string and the G strings, the increased tension on the left side of the bridge does still cause it to tilt slightly forward sometimes towards the fingerboard, but because the A string is already in the correct tension, it helps to counteract this tilt and keep the bridge from shifting too dramatically. But if you tuned the G string first, like I used to do, the massive change in tension on that single thick string creates a strong uneven pull that causes a much more significant and unpredictable shift in the bridge's position. This throws the other strings, especially the E and the A strings on the other side of the bridge, much further out of tune. So by tuning with the A string first, you're essentially building a stable foundation, making the entire tuning process more efficient and accurate. If you've ever tuned your strings and then checked them at the end only to realize the first strings that you tuned are now out of tune again, you're not alone. This can be a quite frustrating experience. And this happens because the tension created on the bridge by tuning one string actually affects the tension on all the other strings, just like we talked about in tip 1 about tuning in the right order. If you haven't been tuning in the right order, that may solve your issue altogether. But what if you've experienced more or less humidity than usual and your violin is way out of tune? You'll want to tune in equal increments. And what do I mean by that? Well, you'll still want to tune in the right order, A, D, G, E, but you don't want to try to get every string perfectly in tune on the first go. Instead, tune the A string some, getting it, in the range of A, but not perfectly, and then tune D and get that in the general range, and so on and so forth with the G and the E strings. Then start back at the A and get it perfectly in tune. And then again, move on to D, and then G, and then E. Going back to the principle of tension of one string affects all the strings, that's why this works. If your strings are very out of tune, then there's going to be more tension created on the bridge, pulling it this way. And so given that each string has the ability to pull the bridge this way some, if you're having to tune up a lot and you're pulling the bridge a lot this way, or tune down, both, either one, the bridge is going to be moving. And so if it has to move a lot for one string, then when the other string is starting to get tuned that might throw the original strings off even more. But when you tune in smaller increments for each string, you bring the tension for all of the strings up in a relatively stable way, a little bit at a time rather than some big shift because a string was really out of tune. And maybe your string is nearly in tune, but it's just a little bit sharp and you cannot get it to that perfectly in tune spot. That peg it keeps going back and forth, flat and sharp, and it's driving you crazy. So in that case, what you can do, as long as your string is a little bit sharp, you can give the string a little tug like this, okay? And that will pull the string this way, so it's bringing the tension down, so then you can get the string in tune. Now, don't be afraid to just really pull on this string like this. I have found that sometimes I only need to do a little bit just to get it perfectly there. Other times I have to tug on that string quite a few times to get it in the perfect spot. So, obviously if you're already frustrated with getting your violin perfectly in tune, then you'll want to start with little tugs and see how that adjusts. But it can really bring the tension down on the string, making it go in tune or flatter really quickly. So you'll want to just kind of experiment with that and see how it goes on your violin. But this should only be used if your string is just slightly sharp. If you're really sharp, then you'll just want to use your pegs to bring that down some more. But if it's just a little bit sharp and you're having trouble getting it right into the perfect spot, then this is a good method to try. And remember that the tension of one string affects the tension of all the strings. So if you tug on one string too much, it is likely that it would bring the other strings out of tune with it. So don't forget to check the other strings again when you're done tuning. Okay, so sometimes tugging on the string doesn't work well enough. And it seems as if our pegs have little notches and they just want to move to the next notch every time, jumping way too far one way or the other. And they just won't turn nice and smoothly to get you into the exact spot where you need to be to have that string perfectly in tune. So if you've tried getting the peg in that perfect position a couple times and you just feel like it's jumping the same every time, sharp, flat, sharp, flat, sharp, flat. Then what I try is just going flat. I'm going to turn the peg toward me. And so I'm going to bring it down flat. And I'm going to do that, bring it out a couple semitones. So that way it's not even close to where the peg was before trying to get it into tune. And then I'm going to tune it again to try to get it back into the same spot. And I find that when I do that, sometimes that's just enough for something magical to happen. And that peg just goes right into the perfect spot. It's almost like the peg can just instinctively find the right place now. So if I'm having trouble tuning and tugging on the string is not working, then that's something that I try. Okay, but what if the issue that you're having is that your pegs won't turn at all? Or conversely, once you let go of the peg after tuning, it just slips and the entire string comes loose. This has to do with friction of the pegs. So violin pegs are not cylindrical, they're tapered, and the holes in the peg box are also tapered. And you may have heard that you should push your pegs in at the same time when you are tuning them. So when you push the peg inward as you're tuning and turning the peg, you're wedging the peg more tightly into the hole. And that inward pressure increases the contact area and friction between the pegs and the peg box. If the peg has been pushed in too much, then it's going to get stuck and be impossible to turn more. And if the peg hasn't been pushed in enough, then there's going to be too little friction and the peg's going to slip. The key is to find the right balance. So if your peg is slipping, you will need to push in the peg more as you are tuning. But if your peg is stuck, gently turn the peg towards you, like we're going flat again, and loosen the tension on the string and pull the peg out some as you do that. Then start over, pushing the peg inward as you tune. You're going to likely need to experiment with this over time to get a feel for what the right amount of friction for your violin pegs are. But if you're struggling with the same issue week after week, then I'd recommend having your teacher or a reputable luthier take a look at your violin and see if they also have trouble with it. Pegs and the holes in the peg box can experience wear over time, especially if you have an older violin, and there may be an adjustment that needs to happen. I've already explained this bonus tip in the video on how to tune your violin, but it's worth repeating because it's just that important. And maybe you didn't watch that video if you already know how to tune your violin. So after tuning your violin, it's really important to check the bridge to see if it is straight or if it's leaning at all. As I talked about in the earlier tips, when you tune your violin, you're usually increasing tension of the strings, and that's pulling the bridge forward with that tension. And so if after tuning, your bridge is not straight, but it's leaning forward, this can not only cause your violin to sound funny, but it can also result in a warped bridge over time, necessitating replacement. So that's why I've always made it a habit to check my bridge after I tune my violin. Sometimes you can see that the bridge is leaning just with your eyes, but that's not always the case, so don't rely on your sight alone. Use a small piece of paper, just a regular piece of, normal copy paper, and put it underneath the feet of your bridge on both sides, front and back, top and bottom, and see if the little piece of paper can fit underneath any of these feet at all. If it can't, then the bridge is in the right spot. If it can, then the bridge is probably leaning a little bit. And so you'll have to pull your bridge back carefully into the right spot. A well-cut bridge is shaped for the curvature of the top plate of the violin here. So it actually wants to sit there, right in that spot that it's supposed to be in. And it's generally going to slide right back into place if you just tug on it a little bit, if it's out of the right spot. But when you do have a bridge that is leaning forward some and you have to straighten it out again, that actually can affect the tension on all of the strings again. So you're going to have to check them and see if they're all if they are all still in tune, or if you need to tune them again. Tuning a violin, though a simple concept, can be really frustrating, especially when you're a beginner or you're just eager to start playing. But playing with a violin that's properly in tune is really, really important for ear development and making sure that you're working on your intonation. So I encourage you to always make sure that your violin is completely in tune before you start playing. And hopefully these tips will get you tuning like a pro and back to playing faster. I'm the Intentional Violinist, and if you found this video helpful, the best way to support this channel is to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can join our community of intentional violinists. Until next time, keep practicing. Even when you've mastered scales, the benefits of practicing scales don't stop. Playing the violin is complicated. As your playing gets more advanced, you can always rely on scales to help you through those times.